Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Just look at this beauty I picked up the other day. It is a vintage Kennedy power axle. Says there, Kennedy. I looked this thing up online. It's a Kennedy Hex-A-Cut 60. So in the olden days, let me just get you back in frame there. In the olden days, this was the job site steel saw that the guys used, apparently, from what I could read on the internet. But it looks more to me like a sort of a what will we call it? DIY home shop machinist. 70s and 80s, that was quite a thing, guys, having a little machine shop in the backyard like I do have now, and it seems like I'm one of a very few of them left. So by the looks of it, this thing looks to me like it was advertised in the back of Popular Mechanics magazine back in the day. Got this one on Facebook Marketplace. When I saw it, I said, you know what, I think this is worthwhile. I don't know if it's running. Bought it sight unseen, basically. It just went there, paid the guy, picked it up and left. He said that it was running, so we'll see how it goes. And let's test it out. Now, first of all, I don't think you should have in your mind the idea that it'll cut as fast as power bandsaws, your handheld bandsaws, that type of thing. So even if the stroke is the same speed as the Portaband, it will only cut on the one stroke. So in essence, you're already cutting time in half. Then on top of that, it'll obviously be how hard you can press on this thing. Now this little saw has got a little oil plunger here at the back. I don't know what the real name for it is. If we release, oh, and it's got a little stop here at the back. When you release it, it pushes oil through a little hole, through a little valve, and it goes down slowly so that it doesn't fall back onto you. If you turn the handle a bit, you can see there it goes much slower. And then as you open up the little valve, it starts going faster. Quite nifty, I must say. The model is a Model 60, due to the fact that it's got a 60mm stroke. Apparently there was a 90 as well, which is a much bigger machine. And but let's see how this thing works. It's definitely been repowered. The original, from what I could read on the internet, the original had a Hoover motor on with a little self-stop thingy here at the back, switch type thing. That's been taken off. This thing has been repowered with a what's the make on here? GEC Machines Limited, FHP Motor Division, Newcastle, Staffs, England. So it's still an English motor on an English machine. This is a Kennedy machine that was made in England, so it's been repowered. But it is what it is. That's why we bought it. I do not foresee that we will be putting it through hard use. Although I love these old little machines and sort of hobby type machines, and like using them, putting them through their paces. For the big jobs, I think this thing will be just too slow by the looks of it. But let's get it plugged in and powered up and see what it is. Maybe I should just quickly zoom you in here a bit. Here you can see the little oil plunger. This thing is, let's get it stood up there. If I take off this little rubber here, there's an absolute mess inside here. I think this thing got water in. What I will do is, if this thing runs and it runs okay, I'll take everything out, wash it out with kerosene or something, and then put it back together again. But for now, I'm just gonna see if this thing works. Let's try and get this little rubber thing back on it again. There we go. There's small little things that I need to fix on here. Obviously there's some rust everywhere. I'll have to get taken care of. There's a little screw in here that fixes onto something, I'm not sure. I'll get into it and see what happens here, but that little screw presses against here and it's been pressing there for a while. So I'm not sure what happens there, but we'll get into it once we get it sorted out. There you can see the mechanism. Okay, so one thing to mention is this thing was probably manufactured somewhere in the 70s, so all the bushings are probably bronze bushings. I can see that they have got little oil ports and stuff on them. So we will go through the whole thing and make sure that all the bearings and stuff are oiled and ready to go. But first thing I'm gonna do is remove this old piece of hacksaw blade. Now this is there we go. This is the cool thing about this little saw, is it runs on half a hacksaw blade. Now the literature on the internet shows that they say you can actually use a, they say the proper blade for this is a 24 tooth hacksaw blade. Looks like this was what it was. And then you just cut it in half, break it in half, whatever the case may be. This blade doesn't look too bad, but I am going to put a new one in and let's see what happens. Now there's a lot of these little bolts that seem to be walled out a little bit, so if this thing works and is worthwhile, I'll get into it and do a refurb, maybe do a video on it. Pop me in the link below if you like to see a refurb on this little saw. I probably should have checked if this thing's running even before I put in a new blade on it. Might have just dashed up a good hacksaw blade. But let's see what we can see. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see. Okay, it looks like somewhere something's dry. I'm gonna just put a little oil on all of these bushings and see if that might help us a bit. Either that or the little belt is not tightened enough. Let's see. Oops. I don't want to burn out the little belt, so maybe let's try. First things first, loosen up the little arm, get some oil in there. I think that's probably where we are getting stuck, is in here somewhere. Ah, there we go. Let's wipe off the excess. And now we can probably tighten it up again. There's little springs in here, so you don't have to get it bogged down completely. Just enough so that you don't have a weeble wobble in the little bow. You see there. Gentlemen, she's running pretty good. I don't think we've got a major issue here. So the next step would probably be to put something in there and see what she's doing on it. Now obviously this has not got the auto stop and stuff still on it, but nonetheless we'll make it work. Let's put something in here and see if she'll saw through it. Got a piece of 25 by 25 by what's it, 3 angle line. Let's see if she'll go through it. And there we go. I didn't time it. I think we should actually time the next one. But the cut quality, focus, cut quality isn't that bad. Like I said, it's slow. Definitely it's slow. You can't compare that to an angle grinder or a porter band, but nonetheless, cool little machine. But let's time it and see how long it takes to go through this angle line. So let's see. One minute 36 seconds. Let's see there. There we go. 1 minute 36 seconds to get through this little angle line. Now, once again, I know this is slow, but remember, this thing was designed and built in the 70s, probably, and I think life was a lot slower back then than what we are doing now. Either way, cool little machine. I'm looking forward to using it. I think it's we'll put it through its paces. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be the be all and end all of the workshop, but it'll definitely get used. I love these old little machines, so we'll definitely be using them. Gents, if you've made it thus far, thanks for watching. If you wanted me to do a restoration and make this thing nice and neat and look good again, let me know in the little thing below, and I might just do it. So with that, I'm going to call it and say thank you very much for watching. If you've made it thus far, please rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay safe.